From NFL quarterback to Hollywood to the mayor's office, and now behind the mic at KXEX, this is the Alan Autry Show. No retreat.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody's grabbing out there. Nobody.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Free at last! Free at last! Thanks
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
And welcome to Alan Autry, Carlos Brown, No Retreat Freaky Friday, and also known as Free For All Friday. We were nicknamed Freaky by some fans there. We'll accept that. Freaky ain't always that bad. And it's never bad when you join us on Friday. It's such a joy and an honor to do this show every day of the week that we're blessed to get up. Our body can get where we're going, and we're able to just participate in something like this. What a blessing. I can pinch myself every day. Not too hard. I bruise easy now in my older age. But just thank you for joining in. Somebody once said, and I say it often here, but when I feel it, I'm going to say it. I've warned you all. Those days of holding back how I feel, too dang old for that. And as Garth Brooks says, tell that someone that you love just what you're thinking of if tomorrow never comes. Is I am just so thankful because when you give of your, let's say your money, you give your money. That's important to something, to endeavors and churches and that sort of thing. It's important. You can do good things with that. But when you give of your time, you give of yourself. And when you tune into this show, whether it be in social media, on radio here, at KXEX 1550, best talk in town, you've given of yourself, and I do not take that for granted at all. Don't minimize that ever. And again, so honored and humbled to have you with us. Big shout out. We were hoping to have we'll have Guillermo here. He's flying in literally. He'll be here probably at the second segment or maybe before. We want to give a shout out to Bullet Bob. You guys love Bullet Bob, a great addition to the show. He's retired. I told him I looked all over the Bible and I've never seen retire. Just the opposite. In fact, God calling people in a very advanced age. Ask old Moses. He was out there just tending sheep when he was 80 years old. God said, I got a little job for you. I need you to lead a very rebellious people out of Egypt and wander in the desert for 40 years. Are you ready? And Moses proceeded to say, well, God, I'm 80 years old and can't speak too well. And God said, and your point is, I'm going to give you the strength to do it. And by the way, we'll use Aaron, your brother, as your mouthpiece. So no excuses to actually retire and do nothing. And Bobby is certainly retired from his job, but he's out doing good things. He has some time to come on the show. We're happy to have him. He has a history in radio and just a great, great person. I've known him since grammar school, been best friends for years and years. But he and some fellow Riverdale boys, guys I went to school with, the first Friday of every month, they meet at George's here locally. Great restaurant. Shout out to George's from 12 to 1, and they just sit there and swap old stories, talk about aches and pains. God, I love it when I join them. We've turned into something we vowed we would never do. Bunch of old gray guys sitting around talking about the good old days. But like I said, I understand now why the old folks did it when we were young. It is just fun. It's great getting together with those guys. Just wonderful, wonderful guys. And a big shout out to them. And to all the seniors out there, you're just warming up. Don't buy into this age, this, that. Just get out there. Keep doing stuff that matters to you. Keep doing things to bring you joy. And when you hear that calling from God, just answer it and go out and do it. Oh, well, I'm a little too old for that. Yeah, there's a way to be smart. cut back. You can't, I go to the gym every day, but I can't lift like I did when I was on the heat of the night. Man, I was pounding it. 2-hour workouts, sometimes 2.5-hour workouts. It was in my contract. I had it in my contract. I said, listen, I'm borderline actor. I am no Marlon Brando, as you see in the dailies every day. So you got to get the most you can out of me with my talent, my limited talent, or it's not going to come across very well on this show. I'm limited to my talent. You give me my 2 hours every day. I get my workout in. My mind is clear. I can take all that dialogue you're giving me, like, get right on it, Chief. Boom. That's hard to say that. I have to prep a lot to get that line out. And if I'm physically fit, I feel better in delivering that very difficult line. You know how many times I said, He of the Night, 7 seasons? Get right on it, Chief. And then I see my paycheck. I go, oh my gosh. They paid me for saying that? All right. I like this. I'll keep doing this as long as I keep watching. And you all watched for 7 years out there, and we're most of you that started out listening to the show, watching the show, were fans of In the Heat of the Night. And I can't thank you enough. You put a lot of food on the table. You paid a lot of rent. You just gave me a life that I didn't think was possible at all. It's all because of you all. And now you're supporting the show here, which I think in its magnitude, I know I come from a movie background, but I'm not being overly dramatic when I say this. I think in its importance in today's world to have at least an honest, committed pursuit of truth with everything going on out there. Truth is a very precious thing to find. It's like holding mercury in your hands. It's very difficult to find. Once you find it, then you're second guessing, is this real? And it's the shows and working for this particular network. I don't even call it work. It's a public service to me. It really is. And I think every talk show host on this KXEX network feels that way if you listen to them. And I urge you to start out in the morning. I think it's Hugh Hewitt starts out. You've got Sebastian Gorka, Larry Elder. In May, you start out Giuliani. Whether you like Giuliani or not, he's a very interesting guy, and he puts forth what he feels is his truth. You can accept it or not. And then we have Guillermo Moreno, who just slipped in here surreptitiously and has joined us before the first break. Welcome on Free for All Fight, buddy.
Thank you. I had a choice. It was either get my 4th shot of coffee or be here on time. And I said, you know what? Alan needs me. He needs me ready. I need to show up ready to firing off. So it's getting in there. It's like when your gas is on empty and then you put it in. You got to start the car a little bit.
My conservative young brother, when it comes to coffee, I don't mind you being pro-choice.
Yeah.
I urgently, because you won't have pro-life here without your pro-choice coffee. Correct? You'll just be, look, you'll be dragging. Look at this.
I'll drink.
I don't even like these folks. Look, they got me.
I'll drink to that.
I'm like those liberals on the left that wanted to boycott Chick-fil-A. The gay community came up, and a lot of my gay friends. I have a lot of gay friends in Hollywood. Good people. I love them, like part of the family. And I ask them, "What's this Chick-fil-A?" I go, the guy who runs it. We don't agree with him, but we're not going to stop eating Chick-fil-A.
Right, that's right.
Why? He says, "Have you tried meal number 4?
Yeah,
with the extra wedge fries and the chicken soup and the we're not." Well, I'm like that Starbucks. Well, I don't like Starbucks' politics, but until there's somebody that come along and can make me.
Yeah, that's true. We got good options as president. We got good options, but what you should do
what options do we have? I love president.
You got a cup of joy.
Okay, and I embarrassingly stand corrected. Cup of joy.
Yeah.
Gosh, who's the young man that runs this? Former football player at Fresno State.
Zach something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Zach something. Zach is, and we'll find out who Zach something really is, because he is really, gosh, it's almost coming to me. But he opened this local chain, Cup of Joy.
Yeah.
I was in there the other day, just full of young people, old people, just, and good coffee.
Great coffee.
Yeah, gum,
Great coffee.
But they don't have a drive-through.
They do on Herndon. But it's
is
one
that
of those,
where you went, the drive-through?
No, it's one of those parking lot ones where it's like it used to be an old something, and you got 2 lines coming in.
So Zach something.
Yeah. We'll call him Zach Joy.
Has one over on something street.
On Herndon and Cedar.
Herndon and something.
Herndon and something.
Something's very popular today. Yeah, but it is good coffee.
It's good stuff. And Little Bean in downtown.
What's that?
I know the owner, Little Bean. That's going to open up real soon.
So I tell you,
you got to have options, man.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to break up with you.
Yeah, you need
But,
to.
you know, they put something in this. I think it was like the old Coca-Cola with the cocaine. They don't know why they can go. Just go to Pepsi. I can't. They're getting the DTs. They found out, folks. That's not some wives' tale. That is, boy, that's sexist, isn't it? Full wives' tale.
And this week you better be on your best behavior.
God, what did I say?
Come on, Alan.
We have a 5-second button that you can erase it. No, it's live.
No, we didn't start the delay.
But it was urban legend. Okay. Oh, now we ticked off all the people in Baltimore and Chicago.
Yeah.
Hey, it was an old belief.
Now you pissed off all the old people.
Dadgummit. Okay, look, there was a time.
Now the blind people
many
can't see. You said look.
Huh?
What about the people that can't see well? You said look.
Are you just trying to alienate me from if my poor departed mother was here now, she would probably disown me. After all of those gaffus stepping in doo-doo like that.
Like Joe Biden right now.
Here's my point. Back in the day, it was out there that cocaine was in Coca-Cola. Nobody believed it. Then they found out. I don't know why they changed it, because they addicted a lot of people on it. But somehow a whistleblower, or they actually did that. The whistleblowers came out with a whistle.
Hear ye.
Blow that whistle. Hey, I got some news on these dudes. I got some turtle. But they said that there actually was cocaine in Coca-Cola. There is something in this Starbucks. Am I going to get sued if I say it's not cocaine? Because I will tell you, I'm sorry to say, back in the days in Hollywood, I tried just about everything. I'm not proud of that. But it doesn't make you feel like cocaine. But there's something in there, because it doesn't taste that good.
It does.
We keep coming.
It really does. It tastes horrible.
Did you see those lines?
It's
every single freaking morning coming out. People having to do their pro-choice. They don't have a choice. They're addicted. They have no choice but to go to Starbucks because they're addicted. They're going to find something. I'm telling you.
Well, hold on. I want to go back to this Coca-Cola thing. It's free for all Friday.
It's free for all Friday. I got a lot of heavy subjects that I'll spend time. But it's all. Let's go with this scintillating topic.
Well,
because a lot of people are being helped out there.
Yeah.
Huh?
Caffeine's kicking in now.
It is.
So real quick, did I see something? Did Elon Musk, producer, just put out a tweet this week saying that he wants to buy Coca-Cola to put the Coke back in Coca-Cola? Listen. I'm pretty sure
he didn't do that.
I think he did. I think he did. We're getting this verified right now. But
that dude, I'm telling you, man, I'm sorry. He's just the new. You used to wait for Trump's tweets. People did. But Trump's like yesterday's news. We're waiting for Elon Musk's next tweet. It's like Bill Maher. I don't agree with Bill Maher's part. 75% of it. He said the Democratic Party didn't leave. I didn't leave them. They've left me with this woke thing. But he's funny. Kim says, I was laughing last night. I was watching a little rerun. And Bill laughing my butt off. He goes, I thought you didn't like his politics. I don't, but I like his humor. Even when he's going after Republicans. There he is. Elon's up on the screen here.
So verified? Verified. That's the actual tweet.
There it is. Folks, it's true. I'm looking right at it. Unless that thing is photoshopped and let it say Coca-Cola.
Next, I'm buying Coca-Cola to put the cocaine back in.
Oh, and that ain't funny. I'm going to get a lot of flack for even laughing at that. Hey, listen, you should too. We're too Christian. A young Christian guy and an old Christian. I should know better than to laugh at that.
You brought it up.
But I should know better. I should be reprimanding you going something like this. And what do you think is funny about that, Mr. Marino? Huh? Would your mama think that's funny? Yeah, your mom's probably laughing like
she
that.
probably is.
Oh, gosh, we got to laugh.
You have to, Alan. I mean,
you got to laugh through the tears, right?
You can't take yourself too seriously.
Well, speaking of that, let's stay with this little theme. Well, coffee, this and that, and the controversial natures of coffee. I'm sure they'll find something racist about that. But I was thinking last night, and I think I sent you a note. You know what I don't get? I'm going into some trouble here. I know, but I have to boldly go where no other talk show has gone. It may be a brief career, but it'll be one that's enjoyable, one full of courage and boldness. So when I'm back there alone going, what happened to my show? I used to have something to do from 12 to 1. Well, it'll be my own fault. I want to talk a little bit about, because it's very important to me, I don't get it. This is from the segment of things that befuddle me. It's part art, too. Autry's random thoughts, along blending. It's a mix. It's like Spanglish, like you told me the other day, the music, with things that befuddle me. What is this thing with food racism?
When you sent this to me, I had no idea what you were talking about.
Okay.
I'm
going to tell you.
What is food racism?
I'm going to tell you. Apparently, you tie a particular food with a race, and if you point out that particular race, predominantly people of that particular race or ethnicity like that food. Like they say, Autry. Where's you from, Autry? Shreveport, Louisiana. Shreveport, Louisiana.
Fried chicken.
Yeah. You had biscuits and gravy. I bet you had some biscuits and gravy in your day. And I go, yeah, but I don't think one thing about that.
Cinco de Mayo.
But if you say, now here we go, here's what's going to get me in trouble. I don't know where watermelon and black folk got so interconnected that if you mention watermelon and black people in the South don't get that, white or black.
Really?
Oh, God. Watermelon is a revered food. I ate so much watermelon, still do. It's my favorite food. I used to love, our family would have with the seeds. We get the seeds from out and spit them at each other.
I hate seeds.
Had these spit fights. Yeah, when you have fun, when you live out in the country, you get bored. You got to get creative.
Apparently.
And you get them, and you get those seeds, and they're slick, and you could squeeze them, and they'd fly out and hit your cousin in the eye. Then game on. You're out there having fun. But I don't know where it began. Maybe you can help me. Maybe there was something. I'm going to hold out that this may be true. Maybe there was an offensive cartoon back in the 1800s or 1700s, and you just don't mention it. But I don't get it. I remember one time going, I grew up with Mexicans in the field. They always talk about enchiladas,
burritos,
menudo. Hey,
yeah.
You see in Mexican, do you eat menudo? And they go, yeah, I like menudo. I like menudo. Or chitlins. Chitlins. Oh,
I have no idea what those are at.
Well,
what is that?
A lot of black folk like chitlins. It's the guts. It's the guts of the animal, of the pig, I believe.
Oh, tripas, we call it.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Isn't menudo made out of
it's
that?
Cow tongue.
Okay.
And cow intestine, yeah.
But predominantly you think about Hispanic folks like the menudo.
Yeah.
And you say, hey, yes, menudo, meet somebody. That's not racist.
But is that the first thing you tell them when you meat them?
No, not the first thing.
Because if you go to Mexico, hey, you like menudo?
No, well, if you're trying to break ice, like my family, Okies, love chicken gizzards. The gizzard. And now that's poor people usually eat the gizzards. I couldn't eat it. My mom loved them. She would eat chicken livers, chicken gizzards. That's a staple of Southern white culture. And also, my mom wouldn't think you're racist. If she said, oh, you're from Oklahoma, Kyoto, Oklahoma, I bet you're eating a few chicken gizzards in your day. She wouldn't have gotten upset.
Probably not.
Well, my point is, why do you have to walk around scared? One example is Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was on the tour years back, and a golfer named Fuzzy Zoeller was known as a comedian. Very good friends. He was a great golfer, too. Good friends with Tiger's dad. Best friends. They used to go back and forth, the wicked senses of humor. Tiger's dad loved Fuzzy. Fuzzy loved him. Well, Fuzzy got caught yelling at Tiger after he'd shot a bad round. And he yelled something to this effect. Well, I bet you're going to go out and have a bunch of fried chicken tonight after that.
He told Tiger that?
Yeah. Tiger goes back. Yeah. They got on Fuzzy, wanted Fuzzy canceled. They went to Tiger and said, what do you think? And Tiger's initially goes, what do you mean? The comment. What? The racist comment, Fuzzy Zoeller said. And Tiger goes, when did he make the racist comment? It went about the fried chicken. And you could see the look. Tiger's going, well, didn't you find that offensive? Tiger went, well, no. Now he, as time went on, had to educate himself, I guess, to the woke thing of, hey, here's your dad's best friend talking about, fried chicken. And they asked Fuzzy said, I didn't mean anything racial about that.
Yeah.
And Tiger's dad said, what? And so, anyway, I just think this whole racism around every corner, you find racist. If it started with that, I think, and is it surprising, something as absurd as that, food racism, you'll end up with math being racist.
Well, it is.
So you're telling me 2 + 2 is not 4?
Well, the way those numbers look at me, They're looking at me wrong. I'm looking at them wrong, and everything comes out as wrong. But no, listen, everyone has it's eggshell. We have this eggshell around us. And did you know in law, in tort, there's actually this eggshell. If you commit something, like if I were to go up and I were to punch, Will Smith, The Rock.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna flinch? Probably.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen you throw. You might have a mean left hook,
right?
Man.
Maybe, or if I were to do that,
I get your point. Probably not.
If I were to do that with,
because you're not a violent person.
I'm not. If I were to do that with Mr. Well, who's a weak person these days? Who's a weak person? Don't say Joe Biden.
Oh, God, that's too easy. Okay. You think I'd go there?
Anyhow, it's the eggshell, which means even if you didn't mean to hurt them in tort law, like you take them as you get them. So even if you flicked it like this, and I mean you cause excruciating pain, like even if a normal person's like, come on,
really?
It's like it's the eggshell mentality where
so then it's an easy thing to understand with people, that you could morph a physical act into just words being violent.
You can verbally assault someone.
That word wounded my soul. I'm internally bleeding. I'm gonna have to go into the IR. Because what? Because you said I was stupid.
Eventually, it will get to that point,
I'm stupid.
It will get to that point.
Have we not already got there? I think the backlash is coming. I think the country's waking up. I think we got there. People said, I'm sick of being there. I want to speak my mind. I didn't mean anything by that. Don't cancel me, because I said, hey, maybe there were some peaceful protesters on January 6th, and the knuckleheads that went in there should be prosecuted. But most of the people didn't go into the Capitol. Yeah. Oh, you're a Putin apology. You're a racist. You want to overthrow the country and everything else. We're going to take a quick break. We come back. We got Laura Fisher coming on there talking about Coca-Cola and cocaine. But look at this shirt that she sent.
Oh, that's
look
awesome.
At that. Alan Autry, no retreat shirt. I'm going to wear one on Monday. Got the hat.
That is
look
awesome.
At that hat, man.
I like the shirt.
Well, you got one in there. She sent you one. It's sitting right there on my desk. The desk that you gave me. That little desk that you gave me. All right, this is Alan Autry, No Retreat with Guillermo Moreno. When we come back, oh, God, just look at this list. Yeah, I'll just have to figure it out when we come
it's
back.
Intense.
We'll probably end up with talking about something that's not even on it, but we got a lot. We'll be right back.
That is an intense show prep list.
That isn't.
It is very intense. I don't even...
don't cheat on my man.
I'm looking over here. Biscuits. Oh, there you go. Biscuits and gravy.
Were you one of those? Were you one of those like that? I was.
No, I was too. No, listen.
Man, the valedictorian was right there. It was too tempting.
No, let me tell you a story. This is how dumb I was at cheating. So I think it was the third grade. You know what? I could never finish those dumb multiplication tables because remember, math is racist. I tell you, math scarred me forever. It did,
well,
right?
Not really. It had absolutely no effect on me.
But you know what I'm talking about, right? Those,
yes,
it's 100 of them.
And scared the living daylights
and they
out
want
of me.
you to do them like in 5 minutes.
Oh gosh, yes.
Right. So what I did was I said I'm going to outsmart the teacher. All right. I didn't turn it in one day, so I had half of it filled out, and we had those desks where you lift up, right? So I put it when it was time for math time. I had the day before already filled out to 50, so I pulled it out, and then I'd fill into 50, and so that's how I made it in the time limit. And I did this, and I would always be like, and they had stars, right, for the kids that did it. You do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And everyone else kept getting the stars, and I'm like, hey, I'm turning it in. I know it's right because I did half of it outside the time limit. And so finally I asked the teacher, like, hey, where are my stars? Third grade, mind you. And she goes, Guillermo, I know what you've been doing. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Mrs. Bush? And she goes, you know how I make you guys date the top of it every day? So I was turning in every single day. And I was,
those details get you every time, don't you? Those little details. You had a perfect plan, kicking butt. Mom's glad with you, is happy with the report card. You're getting excelling in math and that dang date.
Oh, I got another one for you. 8th grade history. We used to have homeroom. And you know how you used to take home the progress reports and you had to make your mom sign them?
Yes.
So I got my first C in 8th grade. And I was terrified of what my mom would tell me. So I went home. I got a bill with her signature on it. I put it in the bathroom light and I traced it, messed up, erased it, traced it again, right? So I'm sitting there in history class in the morning where we had to turn all these in, and the guy in front of me came from a broken home. And I'm like, hey, dude, did your mom sign yours? And he's like, nope, I did. And I'm like, dude, me too. And I was like, let me see how good your signature is. The dude whited it out. He messed up on his mom's signature. He put white out on it and rewrote it. So we turn him in, right? We turn him in. Before the end of the class period, the teacher, I forgot her name. She goes, Guillermo, I want to see you after class. And I'm like, oh, man. And so I go up to her after class, and she goes, I want to verify this signature. And I was like, damn it.
Seconds?
And I was the guy that had the whiteout he didn't get called in. I saw him afterwards.
He beat the system? They didn't see the whiteout?
Well, I know she saw it, but
well, so you're the one that got
I don't know. My mom got called in, and thankfully, my mom, she had that theory.
What was your punishment?
10 seconds?
No, remember, I grew up in the age where I was never wrong.
Okay.
So I got nothing. I wasn't, she just said,
no
hey,
timeout?
No, nothing.
Well, mijo, you turned out good. You're one of the exceptions.
Don't leave your signature on me.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
Well, it's Free for All Friday. When the topic of cocaine and Coca-Cola gets the most response, we got to go to Laura Fisher, who says she would like to give her input. In Putin.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
You need some more shots.
You got your Putin on cocaine in Coca-Cola. Laura, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, thank you again for these wonderful shirts. The staff loves them. Guillermo's going to pick his up today.
Awesome.
I'm going to wear mine on Monday, but got my hat on. And, we're going to figure out a way to help some folks with this. We'll
I love it.
People are asking about it already. I already want one. And we'll find some way to get together and help some charities on this thing. So cocaine and Coca-Cola. What's your thoughts on that? Did it happen?
Okay,
Was it real?
The reason that they actually doubled the amount of cocaine that was in it, because originally it was wine, cocaine, and Coca-Cola. And they had too many dry counties in Georgia, so they couldn't put the wine in there. So they had to double the amount of cocaine. Well, then the newspaper wrote a story claiming that Coca-Cola was turning young hormonal boys into cocaine fiends and forcing them to rape women and animals. So that's why they removed it in 1903.
I raped a woman or an animal when I drank that stuff back in the 60s.
Hold on, how much cocaine did they put in it? Because you know how they
a lot.
Oh, so it was.
Well, you know what I think it was. Yeah, you don't remember that. Well, obviously you don't remember. Laura, you won't remember this, but some folks out there will. There was a time, probably at least up to the mid 60s, where you couldn't chug a Coca-Cola.
Really?
It would burn your throat so bad. It had something in there. And you loved that sensation. That was part of the Coca-Cola experience.
Because
I thought it might have been that cocaine.
It wasn't until 1974 that they had to reduce the amount of caffeine.
Okay, it was the caffeine. When did the cocaine get out of there? Or did it ever?
That is the
cocaine
question.
got out in 1903, even though cocaine wasn't considered an illegal drug until 1914, because they didn't want gangs of cocaine fiends running around raping women and animals.
Cocaine.
Wow.
They didn't take it. They took it all out after 1914. Sure, they did at Coca-Cola. Yeah.
But they tripled the amount of caffeine and sugar.
Oh,
to give you the same sensation as you would get from the cocaine.
It's if you knew everything. That's why I get it from my friends going, you don't trust the government totally. You don't trust this. You don't trust that. You don't trust Fauci totally. You don't trust the president totally. You don't trust anything. Who do you trust? I said, nobody but God.
You need to watch.
There's
America.
Huh? I am, listen.
You need to watch.
I'm all trust but verify on everything but God. I'm going to try. I'm not going I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to try to believe in you a little bit, but I'm not going to trust you.
Hold on. What is it called?
Go ahead.
It's called Built America. And it tells you the craziest things about how we ended up the superpower that we are. The things that you would never consider or think about. Well, like, for example, I was taught in school that Henry Ford was the one that actually created the assembly line. He wasn't. It was Heinz.
The guy did the ketchup?
It was the Heinz company that did. Yes, the Heinz company did it 8 years before. And Henry Ford actually toured the Heinz factory to see how they did that. And it was actually the Heinz Corporation that kept England from starving to death during World War I, which is why to this day, Heinz baked beans are still the #1 product sold in the UK.
Really? Isn't that interesting?
Huh.
Yes.
This little Paul Harvey thing going on. Now the rest of the story.
Yeah, exactly.
You remember Paul Harvey?
I've heard of him.
He's great. He's good. Well, that is very interesting.
You gotta
Okay.
watch that show.
All right. Well, I appreciate you.
Also,
yes, go ahead. Free for all Friday.
Hey, why not?
Well, you talked about our conversation that we had on Tuesday. And
oh, you're going to take me back to the, let's go. Okay. I was just feeling good. Let's go back to the abortion issue, Laura. Cheer me up.
I'm not going to back to that actual issue. All I want to say
I'm
about
just
that is
teasing
the
you.
reason that we didn't get into it
I'm teasing you.
is because we came to that conversation like adults with humility
Yes.
and empathy.
I'd hope so. I think so.
And that is something that people are not learning.
Right.
They're not being
I agree.
taught empathy, and they're not being taught humility.
Right. I agree 100%.
Conversations with the idea that they're going to change someone's mind. It's not about that.
Right. Right.
I didn't.
But if
tell
you,
to
but
make
you know,
you
but
decide you're going to be for Roe v. Wade.
right. But you know, Laura.
Just to give you another perspective.
Yes.
And you actually gave a very, very valid argument as to why you, as a man, should still have a voice in it. In that you compared the experiences of many of these women, why they claim that they are aborting babies because of abusive relationships, because of poverty, because of all of these reasons. And then you said that could have been me.
Yeah.
Well, that means that you have a dog in the fight.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
have,
that's true.
But yeah, I hear, and also what I hear you saying, and I'm really glad you brought that up, is there is something, I don't know how you would describe it. I don't even know if words can, but it's just what happens when they say, you hear the phrase, we walk a mile in my shoes. Then you'd understand me more and we could talk more and work together more. Well, we're not even walking a couple of feet in anybody else's shoes, but there's something, if we would do that and understand where the other person is coming from, not necessarily we have to agree with it, but go, you know what? I do understand, based on what you're telling me, why you feel that way. There's something, gosh, give me the word, Guillermo. You're smart and you got more brains in your finger than I have in my body. Right? Therapeutic is a bad, banal word for it, but there's something beneficial to mankind's getting together and working through their differences that happens. You just are able. It's kind of fuel.
It's cathartic.
Yeah, that's a good word, and it's fuel for a compromise, because as Thomas Sowell said, this guy's a brilliant. I know I talk about him all the time, but please go on YouTube. I think he's one of the most brilliant people to walk the earth in this modern time. An economist by trade, great philosopher. But he says, really, there's no such thing as wins. He says there's trade-offs. If you, in terms of society, in your society, if you're going to work together and move forward as a people, here in this case, as Americans in the United States of America, you have to be willing to have trade-offs. There's a lot of people that say, hey, I don't want abortion under any circumstance, and I'm going to be militant and fight till that happens. And they say, look, the courts just put it back to the states. Well, accept that as a trade-off. Don't try to go to the whole, call that a win for you and quit pounding. You know what I'm saying? It's trade-off. You're never going to get very times where you get everything you want out of a situation. That's why Ronald Reagan said, if I'm with Tip O'Neill and I get 60% of what I want, are we 60% friends or 40% enemies? And he says, I look at it as 60% friends. He's a great compromise. Go ahead. Guillermo.
I'm glad you said that, because the discussion that we were talking about yesterday, I have a friend that's transgender. We just had this conversation last night about what the science that I told, the data that came out and what I told you. And she said something to me that I think is very, very interesting. It's almost exactly what you just said. She said, it would be great if in the real world we could have and be everything we want to be, but we can't. We have to make hard choices. We have to decide what we're going to do with our life based on our family situation and so many other things. Well, that the same applies for transgender athletes, because the science is coming in now. You can either be a girl or you can be an athlete, but you can't be both.
Yes, I agree. Guillermo, you had something?
You guys have touched upon something that I really should take onto my show and really, really hammer this election cycle. I don't know why I didn't come, because I'm not as smart as Laura, but you're right. I think we're looking at politics as it's either my way or the highway.
Zero-sum game.
My way
you
or the
win
highway.
It all, or
Maybe as conservatives, we need to be saying, hey, listen, you know what? We'll meet you in the middle. What a great message for Americans and for us to say that.
Absolutely. And on your show, I hope you go absolutely 100%, because God has given you gifts to explain things that I can't do it. He's given me some limited things, and Laura, many things. But that's exactly what's happening, that zero-sum game in the Ukraine right now. You've got Austin, Milley, the president, saying we want to grind the Russia into dust so they're never able to be a threat to anyone. That means completely 100 destroyed. Don't compromise. Don't get to the negotiation table with Zelensky and Putin and say, hey, we're going to live in the real world here. We got to have some trade-offs on both sides, and nobody's pushing that from the United States government. Why? As Laura says, and she's on it, the money.
Because, don't you know what's going on?
The money.
They just found out.
Go ahead. When your voice goes up to that octave, I know you got something really, really good.
Going out of Russia every week. Destination unknown. Yeah. International maritime drones have actually picked up footage of these ships going into international waters and transferring oil onto American barges.
Oh, yeah, exactly. The oil, we're still getting oil from them. It's the big con game. Everybody's playing the game, except the game of peace. It's just people dying. Who really, do you think Joe, and I don't mean to pick on Joe Biden. I just think the political landscape in general, the vast majority of the people are not losing sleep over the people trapped in that steel mill in Mariupol that are being slaughtered. They don't go to sleep thinking about that. Here in America, the homeless this, my gas prices this, and naturally hit home to us. But then they claim that they care about that as they escalate the war to the point where we may cross the line where there's a point of no return. There is a point of no return in this war, and we don't want to cross it, because let me tell you something. If Putin thinks that he's going to be ground into dust and never be able through this war to defend its borders, he's going to take the dust off the nukes, and there's going to be nuclear weapons used. And now people better realize who was saying what during this time.
And Putin wants to use them.
Well, I don't think he does.
I think he does.
I think he will. I don't think he does. I think he knows the stain that would come to that, the devastation, but it's a trade-off. He's saying, do I let Russia go into the dustpan of history and be ground into dust, or do I use this nuclear weapon to wake the West up to say, hey, I mean business? It's a trade-off for him. And people say, well, you think Putin doesn't want it? Come on, don't demonize me for that. The man is a very deranged guy, but he's not dumb. He's not like, see, it's easy to paint people like that because you dehumanize them. And if we keep pushing this and you push that man into that corner, there's no do-overs once that button's pushed. And that nuclear bomb hits and the horror that it's unleashed.
Putin, a lot of people think that Putin's thin-skinned. Most of what Joe Biden says, I think Putin finds very funny. And I think he uses it as propaganda.
True.
I think he did until the losses. I think he's seen a devastation in his military, the loss of life, the loss of equipment. They just sunk a ship out there, and we just found out it was American intelligence that was passed on to the Ukraine. And I think he may have, and now I think it just fuels his belief. You're right. He takes these Biden statements back to his people, because they have a whole different. We didn't lose 27 million people in World War II. We didn't lose. We weren't decimated like that. This country that's been invaded twice. Those folk stories have been passed down from generation. The horror of 6 million Jews is horrible. Is horrible. 27 million Russians. They look at that. It was bad stuff. They have a whole different perspective than we do. And like you said, Laura, if we don't talk with each other had come to understanding going, okay, I still don't support the invasion. You got to get out. We're going to fight you to the end. But I do understand, Russian people, why you could support President Putin, because you've taught me what it is to be a Russian and have to live with that legacy of being invaded and having stories of your grandmother and grandfather killed brutally by the Nazis in World War II. And so I understand that now. So maybe we can reach a compromise now, a trade-off. But that kind of mindset's not there. And I tell you, it's same as Vietnam. Everybody's going along, oh, yeah, let's go over there. Let's fight communism. Let's do that, which was a noble cause. And the next thing you know,
believes that their opinion and their beliefs and their feelings are superior to their opposition. And people have got to stop thinking that. Because the way that I feel about certain things is no more important than the way you feel about it, whether we agree or disagree.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And you know, which brings up the point here, Laura and Guillermo and listeners. I believe we're in the middle right now of, in the United States government for sure, but a lot of people that I know, and it's easy to go there. I've allowed myself to go there, and there is this, a selective morality. What will we accept in terms of moral lines that we'll cross or not cross? I can tell you, I have friends that were so pro-American, they were anti-terrorist, obviously, not for the terrorists, but had a big problem with waterboarding KSM, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. They thought waterboarding, we don't do that. You saw people on the right, on the left, just criticizing that, saying it's not something that America does. And Bush made the point was, look, we got information from him that allowed us to abort a plan to attack American forces, and by our estimation, say it saved several thousand American lives that we wouldn't have gotten if we wouldn't have waterboarded them. Okay, so you take that, people, well, not good enough. That's inhumane. We don't do that. Flash forward to 2000 March here, whenever Putin invaded. The media has done a great job, and it's been self-deserved, to demonizing Putin and the Russian forces and the atrocities. And would people feel the same way if there was a Russian general captured in jail in Kiev, and the Ukrainian military knew that this general had information on the next major bombing of a children's hospital or a birthing center with pregnant women, and they knew if they waterboarded him, they would get that information. Would we somehow accept that a little more than we did Khalid Sheikh Mohammed?
I would.
On there?
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people feel the same way. Yeah. Is that being morally selective? Are we saying, as they're saying, over here, it's unacceptable with a Middle Eastern terrorist and our soldiers, but over here with a Russian terrorist general, it's acceptable that we do that. Those are hard dilemmas to deal with in oneself.
But we've always done that. Look at the Shah of Iran. People knew that the Shah in the 70s, he had rape rooms, he had torture rooms. We knew that. American intelligence knew that. We turned a blind eye to it. And then all of a sudden, Saddam Hussein was the bad guy.
My point.
Well, he wasn't doing anything that the Shah didn't do.
And
he didn't say anything about that. And then look at MBS.
Mm-hmm. These are no easy. These are questions with no easy answer.
To be covered for that guy.
There's no easy answer. If you said don't waterboard that general, what would the media do to you if they said we have that? Just buy that scenario. It's not an outrageous scenario. It's not out of the realm of possibility that you have this general. We know there's the mass offensive coming. Ukrainians are getting, the military is getting degraded day by day. Mariupol is just a ruins. It's not even there as a city. You got these folks holed up in the Mariupol steel plant, and here comes the Russian forces bombing the living daylights out of it. Here's another dilemma. Do you know who is holding out in that steel plant? The military. You got a lot of citizens there, private citizens. But you know who the soldiers are? They are the Azov Regiment, a group of avowed Nazis. Avowed Nazis. The Zelensky acknowledges that. The president of Ukraine prior to Zelensky gave an award to this Azov regiment, saying these are our best. They are the best patriots and avowed white supremacist Nazis. And they're going to fight to the death there, apparently, in that steel plant. So who do you root for? The Russian atrocity makers or the Nazis? Because if you pick the side, well, we want to pick Ukrainian. No, you got 20,000 Nazis there fighting for freedom. But you go Nazis?
Yeah.
Boy, I hope the Nazis win. When have you heard that? Now, these are hard truths of life that nobody freaking wants to talk about. But we're going to talk about them on this show because we got to look into our own souls, or not only do this country doesn't have a chance, this entire planet doesn't have a chance. And we have to be able to delve in and talk about this without fear of being called a racist.
Well said.
Or you're a Putin apologist, Guillermo. And I'm willing. I'm not trying to play holier than thou. I want to be on this show. I want to maybe do another movie. I probably won't because I criticize China so much. I'm trying to be a martyr of any kind. That's not in my DNA. But I got to do what I got to do because I love my country. I love my planet. I know God loves this world. He loved this world so much he gave his only begotten son. He loves all of us down here that are killing each other needlessly. And nobody wants to say, time out. You got as much sin in your heart as I have in mine. God loves me as much as me. And let's try to sit back and take a deep breath and figure this thing out before we blow up the freaking planet. You know? So I'm willing.
Well, all I want to say about this whole conversation is we sound like we're on a lot of drugs because we started out talking about Coca-Cola and ended up talking about Nazis.
I did have 3 Coca-Colas today. Maybe they're still putting the cocaine back in there.
This is my 4th shot of caffeine.
But Laura, appreciate you too. And we're going to take a quick, let's take a quick break, come back, run out of show. But Laura, you always liven things up.
She
You're
does.
great.
I love Laura.
Give that beautiful husband there a big old hug. Thank you for the shirts. And we'll be in touch on how to share this blessing of the shirts and hats with folks and do some good for some charities. This is Alan Autry, No Retreat, with the great Guillermo Moreno. We'll be right back.
Two greats.
Two greats, baby. Can't be too great.
Have you listened to the promo that was done for you? Yeah, there's a promo on the station.
Was it, hey, ho, ho, Autry's got to go. Hey, ho.
No.
You know they're going to be out in front of here.
Oh, hey.
Fire the old white guy. He says all white guys aren't bad. Get rid of that white supremacist. He actually said old white people have some good in their hearts.
Man. That's so true, though. And that's where, so Nunes, a lot of stuff going down.
As he walked away.
Yeah, Nunes says that they contacted Musk. Musk says, no, you didn't. Stewardship. So why is...
No, what's the big controversy? We got a controversy there? No comment between Musk, Trump on Twitter bid.
So Nunes, I guess Trump's people are saying, hey, we encourage Elon to buy Twitter. And Musk is saying, no one ever told me to do anything.
Trump's folks saying that they encouraged
him to buy Twitter.
Let me tell you something. I'm just going to tell you, and I want you on the show and do it. I'm going to reveal my 9 months with Donald Trump and Michael Cohen.
Have to.
This is part of the playbook, man. It doesn't mean I supported a lot of Trump's policies. Yeah, I voted for Trump.
You got to do it a podcast, a long form. I don't think you can do it over radio.
Okay, because you're going to be there. We're going to go through this step by step.
Let me ask you
this. Say, does this sound familiar to what he did over here?
One question is all I have for you that I want you to tell me, yes or no.
Yes.
Do you wish the project would have gone through?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I fought like heck for it. But I told him it's going to be hard, if not impossible, to put together. Too many owners over there. And everybody smelled the money. So
what's there now?
I don't know what's there.
I think it's housing development now.
Yeah, it's basically the same. But then what happened, he was still moving forward, then the housing bubble burst. Because it was a housing development as well as a golf course. That's where he was going to make his money off the housing.
Do you think this would have been the Mar-a-Lago of the West?
Do you think he would spend a lot of time here?
I think he probably would.
I love Fresno, but it's okay. Mar-a-Lago in Florida. We're one of the weird ones that love Fresno. The beach or taking a drive out in the grape vineyards. I take the drive in the grape vineyards, and so do you. But most people take the beach. Okay,
very true.
We've got to accept that.
Speaking about the guy that just left the city limits. So,
yeah.
Man.
Oh, where are you now? You're
Madeira.
You're out there.
Tesoro,
at the,
yeah.
Beautiful homes out there.
You know, people call me a sellout. There's a mutual friend we have that said, "Oh, you're a sellout, Moreno."
Oh, geographical racism.
Like, dude,
yes, you're not a good Hispanic.
Yeah, I'm not.
You moved to a home in Madeira.
Yeah.
Have you been out to Madeira?
Yeah. Apparently, I'm in Beverly Hills now.
Oh gosh, you're an insult to your race.
Gosh,
you're an insult. Hey, if I don't live in a little trailer park in Natchez, Mississippi, I'm a bad white guy.
30 seconds.
You're not representing poor white folk living over there in Fresno, those nice neighborhoods.
You know, if we could
blow this.
Let me tell you what. If we could do a Guillermo Moreno show uncensored,
why can't you?
I'd ban myself.
Just.
I would ban myself.
You discipline yourself. Do that. You be your own minister of truth.
I can't.
Your own minister of
truth. I cannot. Oh,
man.
Look at that. Larry goes for...
Franz Funstopper, Ministry of Truth.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
Oh, welcome back to the show. Folks, I know the stuff we talk about isn't nearly as funny as I think it is, but Lord help me, I think it's I need it every day. It's cheaper than therapy. Mm-hmm. And I'm tired of watching Dr. Phil reruns. There's only so much you can learn from Phil. You can learn some. You know, Oprah gave him his start there. You got 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Yeah. Okay, let me get this in. Did you see where these two teenage carjackers got a little bit more than they can handle here in Fresno?
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Folks, these two teenagers decided they're gonna be Antifa. So they go out there and they try to carjack this lady's car, where she puts up a fight and I guess goes home, tells her boyfriend, and these two guys don't have enough sense to leave the scene of the crime. You've just assaulted a woman. So let's hang around here and just swap stories. Well, the boyfriend comes back, proceeds to go Mike Tyson on both
Never
of these
mind,
kids.
I didn't see this one.
Yeah. The one kid's sitting there fending him off. The other kid starts running. So the boyfriend knocks the one down, chases after the other one. The cops come and save these two teenagers. But I tell you, that's going to happen more and more. People are not going to stand for this random violence.
Well, Judge Janine in the feature that she started before your show, I guess gun sales are up. Yeah. Obviously, because they want protection because they're not getting protected in the cities, in these American cities.
And I hope the courts start reflecting that because people are going to get in trouble. But you got to defend yourself and that's your wife. I'd do that. Take me back there.
Yeah. Now, we need a bunch of Judge Judys. 24/7.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Well, something's got to turn around. And you see this George Gascon?
Yeah,
he's going to charge the guy who attacked David Chappelle with a freaking knife, a knife-wielding potential assassin. Charges a misdemeanor.
It's on Dave Chappelle, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle. Yeah.
They're going to charge him with a misdemeanor.
It's that stupid theory that if someone breaks in your house and hurts themselves in the middle of the break-in, you're liable.
Yeah. But these folks in the woke far left, they don't care about black-on-black crime. They're just sitting around twiddling their thumbs, playing video games till the next white cop makes a mistake.
Yes.
On someone of someone. Then they're interested.
Yep.
There's a black assailant on Dave Chappelle, almost could have killed him. And George Gascon, the DA of L.A., charges this guy with a misdemeanor. I tell you, what a thing to go to the weekend on. But Guillermo Moreno, it is always a chunk of heaven having you here with us. Folks, I told you at the beginning of the show how much you mean to me, and I just want to reiterate, God bless you. Thank you for joining in. God bless your family. And just remember this. Do your best, and let God do the rest. That's all any of us do. Talk to you soon on Monday, God willing. Bye-bye now.